Okay, I need to refine that a bit. I'll check them more. All right. It's been a while since I've done one of these and probably past due, but we got a pile of stuff to deal with here, and let's just get right into it. Hopefully someone's going to show up at some point and open up the discussion. But let's go ahead and start with the first item I got piled up here. We're going to start off when we'll get to the idiocy of Section 31 eventually. But right now, let's see, 5 concepts. Yeah, some of these I haven't read yet, but it's going by the titles. Okay, this should be interesting. Knocking my headphones over. Shit. Got a much longer cord here. I've been problems with too short a cord. But now I got a problem. All right. Put these aside. All right. So let's see. 5 principles for second contact. Get past this. All right. First contact in Star Trek canon is influenced by Starfleet's prime directive to not interfere with pre-warp capable planets and civilizations to preserve the species' natural evolution without the potential influence from alien cultures and technologies. I have these things plugged in at some point. I'm going to hear anybody showing up. There we go. All right. Let's double check here. No, okay. All right. All right. Now, observe the interference of pre-warp without potential influence in the culture's technology, albeit negative or positive. Prime directive is paramount, pun unintended, for pre-warp civilizations that may not have a concept of off-world alien intelligent life. First contact protocols dictate a peaceful, cautious, and diplomatic interplanetary introduction of 2 or more species that have reached space travel technologies sufficient to exceed speed of light, warp technology or otherwise. However, first contact is not the end of the species-to-species communications that may lead to second contact, assuming the planet wants to continue a relationship with the Federation. Currently, there are minimal Federation lore on second contact protocols, aside from throwaway dialogue here and there, mentioning several diplomatic interactions between the Federation and other planets, which alludes to follow-up encounters as second contact. Yeah, lower decks. You have to lower decks. What's next? A movie? Well, actually, Mike McMahon is working on that. He's chomping at the bit to get going. Once certain hurdles are out of the way, Kurtzman, and come on, let's follow Star Trek edition and make the Cerritos hit the silver screen like a Warp 8 or something. Maybe even a 4D immersive experience with a collectible popcorn bucket. All right, and someone's already posted it. Content of second contact has been implied in a few examples from Starfleet canon, such as in Next Generation Season 2, Episode 4. The Enterprise D crew is sent on multiple diplomatic missions with other species, and the term second contact is mentioned. Or in DS9. Titles, people! What the fuck? I mean, nobody goes by titles. This is fallout from that stupid, Get a Life sketch. Before that, nobody referred to episodes by the number. God. The slaps in people. Give me a damn title, okay? I mean, certainly you're being paid by the word. You're not saving anybody going this nonsense. Move of the Cardassians to planet Bajor included discussions about the Bajoran citizens moving forward, joining the Federation as part of the second contact process. And in Star Trek Discovery Season 1. Fuck anything Discovery has. One of the most direct representations in the Starfleet canon on Second Contact occurred in the adult animated series Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 1 episode. Yeah. Second Contact. In this episode, and some Boimler comically touched on how the USS Cerritos was not commissioned to initiate first contact with any species. However, they had honors of second contact flyby mission to save Onara after that part first contact 17 years ago. I should double check that. All right. With some levity, the episode briefly touched on scientific and engineering responsibilities and second contact to set up subspace communications array, ensure the correct spelling of the member planet's name. Considering that Starfleet first contact seems there should be some effort added to the canon to explore the details of second contact protocol missions. Considering the lack of Starfleet canon subject, let's pursue what formal second contact protocols could be adopted. All right, let's see what this guy's in mind. Okay, future Starfleet canon to address the formal context. Most likely concern the continuation of peaceful relationships and knowledge of exchange between Federation and new planet. Objective of the sexual second contact could be conducted within a framework of Starfleet Charter rules, guidelines, and statutes, potentially segmented into the following areas of Federation principles of second contact. Communications and Starfleet protocol, species and cultural awareness, interplanetary relations and diplomacy, science and technology, agreements and treaties. Each Federation principal could be instructed by an assigned active duty Starfleet admiral, who would be a subject of. And actually, the first time I did touch on this a bit, because there was a time or two where they were talking to planets about joining the Federation. I remember one, I forget the episode's like, but they said, no, you're not ready yet because you want to use our technology to wipe out your enemies. No, we ain't doing that. You ain't ready to play with the big boys. Kind of put them in the position that the Vulcans were and back in Enterprise's time, that you ain't ready yet. Let's get rid of that. As such, a subset of planet leader. Additional leaders chosen the needs of yep, okay. And they go to the details here. I mean, part of this cultural exchange. Interplanetary relations, diplomacy, and science and technology. Yeah. It is help us help you. Agreements and treaties. Something, the line from Mariner and Lower Decks, how Starfleet's great on first contacts, but they're not so great on the follow-up. They tend to, okay, then they'll move on. It's like they don't really stick around to see what happens. Credence? I assume you mean concordance. I mean, it is real. I got several copies around me. And again, I have a bit of a dream to one day have a final version ready in time for the 60th in a few years. Actually, 1 year. I should get cracking. Let's see what else we got here. Our old buddy Chad Porto is at it again here. Let's see what we got here. 3 reasons a Star Trek anthology show would end up failing. Oh, by the way, this thing up here, it's like the little red thing. It's something that goes under VR goggles. This is a nose piece. Because things, the way it's sitting, is like, what is this? Some kind of sex toy? No, it's part of it goes under goggles. Cushion. It's a cushion, for VR goggles. Does it ever feel like Star Trek fans don't actually like Star Trek? The franchise is nearly 60 years old and has a tried and true formula. It works for the fandom. When it's done, the fandom receives it warmly. Yeah, when it's ignored, the series fails to hold the same support by most of the fans. I think, how old is this guy? Because he seems real fixated on, gotta stick to the formula. No, the formula is a good framework, but you gotta, you do have to know it before you can break it. These guys don't even know it. We know this case because we've seen how the fandom has reacted for nearly 7 years of New Trek era. When a show seems like a wild departure of Trek, the support isn't there. When it feels more in line with expectations, support is there. Despite the Trek method being tried and true, the fans are constantly writing about the franchise being different than what it is. That's like going to Pizza Hut and demanding fried fish. If you want fried fish, go to a fried fish joint. Simple logic. Not here, though, however. Once again, there are fans who are calling for Star Trek to do something that has never done before. Make an anthology concept that, frankly, would never work. For those who aren't sure what a televised anthology series is, there are 2 pretty well-known examples, American Horror Story and Twilight Zone. How about Outer Limits, Chad? Good God, you're showing your lack of age here. And they did a renewed version of Outer Limits not that long ago. Good God. Concept is pretty simple. Every episode, a new season, new characters and plot lines are to choose. Ones that have a connection to past ones. Allows for fresh. Okay, yeah. Moving on. Can't please everyone. You've seen this brought up before, but most recently, the concept of a Star Trek anthology series was conceived of as a way to give every Star Trek fan something they'd like the notion you could create something that everyone would like, a concept that just does not exist. All right, let's see. Shorter, yeah. Yeah, I think short trek. Well, short treks also mostly sucked. That's the one thing you're missing in the whole thing, Chad. Is like a lot of it's like not the part of the formula. The problem is the product sucks. If they've been well written and thought out, they would. It might have actually worked. But when you're putting out crap, Did it just repeat itself? No trouble advancing here. Miss someone? Let's come on. Where the hell is the text? Yeah, that is, expense is a big thing too, because unless you have some real good use of multi-purpose things, because how they're able to justify, even back in the desert days, how they justify a very expensive show like Star Trek is because you're able to spread the costs over multiple seasons. An anthology one, you're talking about a new Star Trek concept and series and thing every week. And that would cut it. That's why you don't see, a Klingon series. The prosthetics alone would bankrupt a typical studio. You can have one Klingon. You could have, even Spock, even Vulcaneers rack up pretty quickly. That's why you only had like one Vulcan, one or two Vulcans ever seen at one time. That's why most of the Romulans, only two guys had pointed ears. The rest of them are wearing helmets. Conveniently, didn't do those ears. Most they do is just the makeup with the eyebrows in it, but But whenever they had a Klingon, you go back and track. There's probably a lot of bottle episodes leading up to the big Klingon ones because they had to save up. You had to get a lot of budget, a lot of shows coming in under budget to rack up the cost to spend on the Klingon episodes because that latex is not cheap. And the process of doing that's a lot of time spent with a lot of guys in chairs for hours getting made up before the rest of the cast is even there. They can start filming. But again, it's kind of, we'll lose the simple fact is because the product sucks. And let's see, let's see, we got this one here. This one looked rather intriguing. One Star Trek Discovery character was fated to be a red shirt. They really hated one guy. What? Who did Rekha Sharma make angry? Well, for one thing, she did a real good, well, besides the Galactica thing, she also did a real good episode of Star Trek Continues. And also the fact she was a hardcore Star Trek fan. That's why she did Continues in the first place. But they're determined to kill her. And let's see, this is tardigrade. In a really stupid move, too. That episode was idiotic. Yeah, I imagine, also pretty graphic. They showed her slashed up body in sickbay. Like, she died. I bet part of it was that she was a hardcore Star Trek fan and realized and probably complained, this is dumb. Oh, really? Well, see how dumb it is when you're dead. Okay, now this one. see what's going on here. Whoops. Hold on. Stop that. Wrong one. There we go. Don't think I have anything from that. Okay. What Star Trek show was canceled too soon, if any? Well, original series, obviously, Enterprise, and Lower Decks. There's my answer right there. Let's get that. Okay, starting rough start. Not many shows that only last 3 seasons. They get canceled twice. Have a 60-year run with, It had gone longer than 3 seasons and may not have become what it is. Star Trek found success consistently because it is always an appetite for more Star Trek. The franchise only got 3 seasons, which left the franchise ravenous for more. I left that 3rd season, I'm not sure how ravenous it were. The ratings really did actually start to suck after a while. I mean, for the most part, they were just sort of lackluster. They were still okay, but because of the expense of the show, they weren't that great. When 3rd season, then the rot started setting in. Like, okay, yeah, now they really do suck. But when the phenomenon hit in the mid 70s, okay, maybe we should do something here. And then phase 2. It wasn't that phase 2 didn't pick up the steam. It was the idea of a Paramount network didn't pick up the steam. And after the big deal of them saying we're going to form our own network and Star Trek going to be, they couldn't turn around and say, okay, never mind. Now who wants to buy the show? Oh, really, Barry? I don't think so. After all the big talk, we're not paying what you want. So that's when they turned to doing movies, because then they could release it themselves. Yeah, films, TV shows, streaming, and more have come after the original series ended. Reality that may not have happened had it not been for the early cancellation of Star Trek in '69. There was a thing of unfinished business there. And again, the syndication thing finally, kids like me who are too young to really watch and appreciate it, and we're old enough that, okay, now we can finally watch it and remember what we're watching. I was like, And it's also considered that if phase 2 had happened, again, you may have, but it would depend on how good it was, but it's like you wouldn't have had the same thing, because we would have had our closure. We would have gotten the series back and they would have finished up a lot of things. And the state of sci-fi in the late 70s on TV was kind of hit or miss. Now, this was before Roddenberry started to buy his own bullshit, for the most part. Still wanted to admit other people were required. Okay. So this was the catalyst for most of the franchise. No, Star Trek original series, as we call it today, it was not a show that was canceled too early. Let me, modify this here. Yeah, the fact that it was cut off at the knees after the 3rd season, again, that did build up. One would not have the franchise we have today if it weren't for that. But in a sense, it was supposed, they were supposed to go 5-year mission, supposed to be 5 seasons. Now, if they had maintained the quality and then gone to syndication, I think there still would have been, a build up. There really would have been a build up for more of it. But I don't think they necessarily would have gotten more than 5, because it was an expensive series. Even with all the budget cuts in the 3rd season, it was still a very expensive series. And they brought, okay, 5's enough. Now we can rack up, the syndication bucks. But as long as there wasn't a definite finale, like everyone going their separate ways and blowing up the ship, that probably would have still been a drive for more Star Trek. And I'm sure Roddenberry would have been counting on that. Because he actually made a memo or letter to the saying, hey, this show could run as long as Gunsmoke, so don't be stupid. Okay. But yeah, so it really was Enterprise. And that one was just an assassination. That was Les Moonves as being a petulant little twit. He didn't like science fiction. He really didn't like Star Trek specifically. Why? I don't know. He wanted Roddenberry pissing his cornflakes one day. Series was the second to air on UPN and didn't sustain the ratings like Star Trek Voyager did before them. There was a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah. And it wasn't just because of the prequel, and the marketing was okay. And again, leaving Star Trek off the show wasn't fooling anybody. We knew it was a Star Trek show. And it made for a rough start for the series. Again, I think that also the landscape of TV was changing rather radically at the time. In general, it also specifically with regards to UPN and Sumner Redstone not learning anything from King Lear and deciding to split his kingdom up. And again, when Les Moonves got control of UPN, and they're in the process of folding that and the CW together, or the WB into the CW, and Moonves was finally able to pull the plug on Star Trek. I mean, Kerry McCluggage managed to look, give us a year, because he was a real big backer. He was in on the development of it. He'd sit in on the meetings. So he was a big fan and big backer of Enterprise. So he managed to plead, give us one more year to wrap things up. Don't just cut off on the knees with a cliffhanger of, a couple of P-51 Mustangs firing at a shuttle pod. No, we got to wrap this up here. But okay, fine. So they got 1 year, and they hit it hard. So the Enterprise was poised to work, but the problem is UPN and the showrunners no, they got the showrunners had a decent idea. UPN kept interfering, where we got the temporal Cold War. Fleshing out a lot of the concept stars we built on. A lot of struggle upon now trying to flesh. Okay, season 5 is poised to be the best one yet, with Shram joining the Enterprise crew as a full-time crew member. He would have been another liaison, though. I think, Start of the Romulan Federation War and the potential return of first captain. They'd been talking to Shatner. I think there was some disagreements on how to handle it, though. I think the idea was it was going to be, the mirror universe version. Like whatever happened after they got set off on that. But had season 5 happened, it's likely the show would have gone 7 seasons, and that the Kelvin timeline franchise would never have happened. Yes, that is one nice thing. And again, that down there. And again, while the book is still being written regarding Lower Decks, that's another one. It's like, no, we weren't finished yet. Let's go and pull that one. And before we get to section 31, let's get some other stuff here. So Kurtzman decided to give a little update on what's going on with Academy seasons 1 and 2. Yeah, it's a bookkeeping thing, okay? No one's excited about Academy at the studio level. The only reason it's happening is because Kurtzman wants it to happen, and he's still got the authority to make it happen to an extent. And they did 2 seasons because then they could spread the cost over 20 episodes instead of just 10. But this newest Star Trek series coming to Paramount Plus, it will center around the first class of cadets in over 100 years. Yeah, this is 32nd century Discoverse. In the 32nd century, the series will also bring back the EMH is coming back, and Tig Notaro is really leaving the Discovery to become an instructor, and of course Tilly. And what the Admiral's doing, I don't know, but yeah. Here's the exciting news: Starfleet Academy Seasons 1 is 2 weeks away from completing production. Excuse me? They haven't even started filming yet. But at least on Paramount, the end of 25, and most series don't nearly need 11 months to complete. Well, we can see the first season this year. Production for the second season is underway. The scripts are being written in the writer's room. On top of that, Kurtzman says shooting for the second season will probably be mid-year with the production moving fast. Yada. Mm-hmm. This is going to crash and burn, okay? I think we can all agree Kurtzman's an idiot. Let's see. Let's move on to the next one. Because he's announced all kinds of... Section 31 was supposed to be a series. No, here's a bit of a slap back here. In case of Porto actually doing something right here. Although he still wasn't really paying attention in science class. Starfleet ships don't have horrendous design. Talking about, there was an article in Fandom Wire about how putting the bridge up at the top. Let's pull these guys here. Consider putting the bridge way up here as a design flaw. It's exposed. It's rather, it's kind of traditional. You want the bridge up and above where you can, if you have to look out, again, I think the idea of a windshield is idiotic. Abrams, slap yourself upside with a 2x4 for even thinking that up. You think, oh, no, dummy. The writer's guide from the first season writer said it is not a window; it is a view screen. You can display all kinds of things. It usually looks at the forward view. But they can switch it to any view they want to. They can put up communications on there. It's not a window. And talking about, there's a few things in here where he seems to be confused, and even submarines is like the bridge is kind of towards the forward part. Actually, it's look on a schematic. The actual bridge, identified as the bridge on a submarine, is up in the conning tower, where you're looking at and literally looking out over thing. That is actually labeled as the bridge. What's down below, where they really run the ship, especially when they're submerged, is really more, I think, control room. They don't call it the bridge. They might as well, though. All right. But it's like the few times where it's like, I say it's practically, arguing the future, our advanced device today. It's like, you don't need to see where you're going in space. You need to have an idea of where you're going. And in case this must be out, look at Apollo 13 for starters. There's a bit where Lovell has to manually do a course correction, and you have to use the because the LEM had hash marks on the port, so you could manually line it up with you just have to line up with the Earth and did a manual correction. Yeah, so last and most importantly, the concept of ship gone through space only works if you realize you need to have a properly intact hull to make it work. That thing has to be pressurized and pumped full of oxygen so it doesn't get crushed. In the vacuum of space. No, it would not cause rupture, cause something to crumble. It would cause it to explode like a balloon. Let me tell you something, Chad. The hull of the lunar module was not much more than tinfoil. You could literally put your foot through it if you weren't careful. You don't have the big, massive pressure hulls of a submarine. The vacuum is there's nothing out there. You're in the inner hull. You're only holding in like they wouldn't even pressurize the sea level. It's like maybe 10 pounds per square inch. Enough that you can breathe and function. It's like maybe equivalent of about maybe 10,000 feet. Which out here would be about just above the timberline. Go up in the mountains. That's about the level. They're or a typical airliner. They're not pressurized at sea level. They're about 10, 12,000 feet pressurized. Equivalent there. But yeah, spaceship hulls are not the same as a submarine hull. Like this is just, you really do not, with the number of typos, you really need to pay attention to what you're doing there, Chad. Good God. So if you're in a space battle and floating under a beat or nuclear hull, you're going to be crushing it? No, it's going to pop like a balloon, dummy. Oh, they point their range. It doesn't matter if the bridge is in the center of the ship or not. You're wrecked either way. Now you could argue, that's why you have shields. Exactly. Shields make it irrelevant to bury the ship deep in this vessel because if a torpedo reaches the bridge, you're all dead anyway. So it makes total sense to just find the most practical spot for the bridge to be in, where it is, and then try to be, and then is to try and be cute with your placement of it. But yeah, it's like valiant attempt to defend the idea, but it's like, no. You get a hole in your spaceship, you don't get crushed, you dipshit. God, we used to be smarter than this. What the hell? All right. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Oh, this week, as far as getting Star Trek 4 going, as in the fourth JJ movie. Let's get this thing loading. Try that again. No, don't give me that. There we go. Can the 2009 Star Trek cast play younger versions of themselves in the upcoming Star Trek 4? No. Simple answer. Because let's just go through. I'll just skip a lot of this crap. Oh, it's a good answer. It's never going to happen. Okay, there's everything here. Okay. Chris Pine was 29 when this thing started in 2009. And he's now 43. And you notice he's gone gray. Still good looking up, but he's getting gray there on the sides there. Carl Urban is 47. And everyone's in pretty big demand now. Simon Pegg is 54. That ginger is also turning white. Zoe Saldana, 46, still looking okay, but she's not going to pass for 20. Okay. And she's up for Best Supporting Oscar, Best Supporting Actress Oscar, which is going to make her more expensive, and along with everybody else, because these guys ain't exactly obscure now. Simon Pegg was never cheap to begin with. And they need to get moving it. No, they need to pull the plug on it. Because I think the bigger thing was what. Because there's supposed to some kind of an origin story. The beginning. We saw the beginnings of Enterprise, okay. And frankly, nobody really cares what the beginnings of the were with the JJ verse, okay. So I'm like, no, we don't need to get. We need to pull the plug on this and rethink this. All right. Star Trek Beyond was an unmitigated flop. With the foreign box office, but the domestic box office, it died. Okay, it was roadkill. And let's see. One last little thing here on this before we start diving into section 31, and I got a few things on that. Entertainment Weekly names the most deserving Star Trek show as worst. Okay. That could have been phrased better, but let's see. Who is this again? This is Chad again. No franchise is going to hit 1,000. Whenever an entity like Star Trek has been around for as long as they have been, you're going to have some misses. No matter how good you are, you're going to struggle at some point. That's life. That's entertainment. Even the best creators stumble. And boy, has this bunch been stumbling lately, like Biden trying to climb a set of stairs. It's like, some of the examples here is, none of Metallica is the Black Album. Not everyone likes the Black Album. Okay? It was the most commercial because suddenly they were no longer doing 7-8 minute long tracks. They finally was able to get short enough to do some radio play. Not every J.R.R. Tolkien book has the popularity of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Not like he's written much else, though. Even your favorite steakhouse or pizza place will deliver a subpar product from every now and then. That's just life. A simpler example, Chad, would be not everything can be sit in the edge of forever. Sometimes you get a Spock's brain. Keep it within the context. Okay, you're going to find yada. So it's not surprising that Entertainment Weekly has named Star Trek Picard as the worst Star Trek series. And I can go along with this mainly because of the reasoning. I think Discovery probably, is worse in some ways. But just as a series, because, It's a mess from the get-go. Rotating executive producer rewrites, inconsistent ideas of what everyone wanted the series to be. Now, some success to agree with season 3, but for the most part, failed in every way imaginable. Yeah, it's like every year was a reboot for this show. Season 1, like, I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. Season 2 was essentially a reboot from season 1, and even more chaotic with different showrunners and everything else. Season 3, again, they treat it like another reboot. And Mattel is only saddled with just a few things that held on, but mainly Picard being the android body, Riker and Troy losing a kid, and a couple other things. But for the most part, he was free to do whatever the hell he wanted. Not just because they didn't, they kept rebooting, but also CBS saw it they were wrapping it up, so they didn't care what he did. It's the last year, regardless. Kurtzman is busy doing a circle jerk with his Academy and other, Section 31. Goldsman is busy with Strange New Worlds. Nobody cared what Metellus did. He was able to do whatever the hell he wanted, and he retconned and finished up stuff left and right. Was it fan service? Hell yeah. We earned that fan service, okay? For the previous how many years of abuse and neglect we've been getting from Kurtzman and his merry band of morons, we deserve that fan service, okay? So I have no complaints about, it's just, but yeah, damn right it is. The only thing missing was the lap dance from the Orion slave girls, okay? And I expect that somewhere in Legacy fires up. Did make the franchise better, actively harm perception of some characters. Yeah, it's like I just completely avoided season 2. I've seen clips here and there, but otherwise, no, you're not gonna get me to watch that show. Let's see, Picard died in season 1. Only has a consciousness put in a body that will actually die. Just that. And again, a nice little example of turning chicken shit into chicken salad is they took that, the bodies and actually made it a bit of a plot point that helped things make a little sense. Why would they go through this now? And bringing back the real Borg Queen, not, the Jurati. And they're like, what the hell is that all about? Just forget it. Didn't happen. Instead of just, everyone. Well, again, there was a bit of an analogy being made there with the fact that it was only everyone under 25. Is think about this. Basically, you had everyone under 25 being affected by a social contagion. And it was old farts like me who had to come to the rescue in the old ship. There was a definite point being made there. You people are morons. You need to start listening to those old fogies once in a while. And they weren't just cheap pops, okay? Even stuff that went, Vincent Rowe. Yeah, and they made her pretty integral to the plot. It wasn't just to show, hey, we remember you. No, it's like, so yeah, I am one of the defenders of season 3 of Picard. Okay. Now let's see what else we got here. That. Okay, let's start getting into the Section 31 stuff. There are like 5 things here to go through here. So Section 31 could begin the movies we want from Star Trek. Don't hold your breath, Rach. Okay. Get this thing loaded. Come on, what the hell? Oh, there we go. All right. Section 31, debuting January 24th on Paramount Plus, is the first Star Trek streaming movie. All the other Star Trek movies we've seen have been theatrical releases. Those, as we all know, take a long time and a lot of money. It takes just about as long as a movie is a movie, whether you're shown on big screen or drive-in or streaming or direct-to-video. Still, it takes a while to produce all this. All right, but with the horse story one, According to Alex Kurtzman in an interview with Trek Movie, it would be wonderful to create a Star Trek Lower Decks and Prodigy movie, and even possibly follow up the movie for season 3 of Star Trek Picard. Yeah, good luck trying to get Picard going back. I mean, Patrick Stewart, because he was having so much fun getting back with the old gang after all. After fighting the urge, originally, he didn't want to, but now suddenly, he's all for it. Don't trust his creative instincts, all right? He's a fine actor, but anyway. Yeah, Ellison's a huge, huge fan of Star Trek. That's why he hates your guts, Kurtzman. That's why he wants you out. Let's see. Reasons the Star Trek streaming movies can be the best thing. No, they don't. It takes a while to produce these things. You still got to build sets. You still got to shoot it, edit it, post-production. Where you're releasing it doesn't make any bloody difference. Okay. There are certain series, and then we get a brand new movie about the no we're seeing further yada yada yada. Oh God. And trying to drum up support, though. Why we need support? No, Section 31 is horse crap, okay? Which we'll now start to get into here. Whoop, hold on. Let's see. Let's start off with here. A different site. This time from Winter is Coming instead of Red Shirts Always Die. Once it gets up here. Put that again. There we go. Section 31 movie mostly falls flat. Interesting premise, but fails to go anywhere. No movie will likely only excite dedicated Star Trek. No, it's pissing off dedicated Star Trek fans. Feature film, a spin-off of the series Star Trek Discovery, will soon be available to stream on Paramount Plus. The movie immediately gripped its audience by the throat, delivering a cold open about the brutality necessary to acquire power that almost rivals Anakin Skywalker's march on the Jedi Temple in Revenge of the Sith. Unfortunately, the film quickly cools off from there, struggling to find its footing until the midway point, when it improves, but not enough to rescue itself from mediocrity. An intriguing premise, former Emperor Philip Georgiou joins the ragtag division of Starfleet. They're not a part of Starfleet. That's the first part where Kurtzman screwed up. They're not a part of Starfleet. They don't answer to Starfleet. They answer straight to the Federation Council. And even then, only on a need-to-know basis. Can Georgiou atone for her escape? Can atone for, or escape her history as a brutal dictator in order to do something good for the universe. I remember them trying to track down some kind of super weapon or whatever, and it's like, really? You need Section 31 for that? Starfleet Security can't take care of this? Strong, but no. Mostly I've been hearing it's like her performance is like crap. Okay, and this is an Academy Award winner. Normally a very beloved, love Michelle Yeoh, but like her performance is like crud. And quickly becomes a pale imitation of a Guy Ritchie crime comedy. Most of the jokes really don't land, and apparently they pile them on. It's like, please laugh at something. Wasn't funny the first time. There's a few surprises that excite Star Trek devotees, and it's like he doesn't belong there. Everyone from Sharon died, was dead at the end. By the time we get let that be our last battlefield. Bale and Lokai were the last ones left, and they beamed down determined to kill each other off. So, and another evidence that they didn't even watch the episode. They were going off the Mego action figure. When that one guy's with shirt and it's like half black, half white hair. No, they didn't have, they had brown hair. A notable chapter growing Star Trek franchise will likely fail to intrigue viewers who aren't already fans. One of the assessments I've heard is that no, it's not. It's only enraging fans and boring everybody else. That's why it's sitting at 17% on Rotten Tomatoes and the critics score. Normally, the folks would be falling all over themselves trying to praise this piece of crap, and the fans are like 23%. You had a few cheerleaders, oh, it's great, they always think, and most of it's like, this is crap. This is idiocy. Like, I don't know what's going on. Its eye has always been a problem. Ever since I had the lens transplant, it's always been a little weepy. But now it's really getting weird. All right, let's see. We got that one. Look at that one. Before I get down to that, let's see anything else here. No, let's get right into it here then. Fire this up here. Come on. Oh, don't give me that. There we go. So you can do a pretty entertaining video just to the fan reviews. There we go. Critics and fans are ripping Star Trek Section 31 apart. It's sad. Okay. Turns out when you make a Star Trek movie for everyone but Star Trek fans, it's going to fail. Gee, who would have thought that? Go ahead, be surprised. Let's all fake our shock that this poorly done attempt at a movie was going to be anything other than what it was. A shameless attempt to ride Michelle Yeoh's fame while putting as little effort and money into a project that was doomed from the start. Everyone, it seems, hates this film. Starting with TrekMovie.com. Yeah, normally this is Shell's side. They usually, very cheerily. They are largely pretty accepting of Star Trek properties that are different. They speak glowingly about Star Trek Discovery, Picard, and Lower Decks, the three most divisive shows of the new Trek era. If they weren't going to like it, then what hope does Section 31 have? Proofread your shit, Chad. Anthony Pasculo, TrekMovie.com. The goal is to deliver a Guardians of the Galaxy for Star Trek, albeit on a TV movie scale. The end result is a mixed bag with varying levels of success on hitting the many targets in its sights. While Laurie Ulster echoed her colleagues' thoughts, saying, Section 31 was created to ask some of the hard questions about the price of Federation security, the price of Federation's peace and prosperity. But those questions don't get examined here, as moral contemplation has been swapped for action adventure. Our own Rachel Carrington want to say, the humor falls flat, especially when everyone is talking over one another. It's like a children's playground where everyone is trying to be the loudest, and unfortunately they were quite one-dimensional, so no one was ever strong enough to stand out. Two of our respective sides on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to Star Trek. The fact that both of us seem to think it's awful should tell you something. The film further fails beyond the narrower Star Trek fandom, however. Rotten Tomatoes and users and critics alike have buried the film. The fan reactions, almost 200 voters. As of this write-up, is 23%, easily one of the worst fan reactions the site has for a Star Trek property. This is the metric I trust the most. They're fans. They're telling you why they did or didn't like something. The critic score is often harder to take seriously, as usually they aren't fans who are reviewing the product, but people who get paid to write reviews. So they're less attracted to fans like Star Trek and more willing to accept things that are less than conventional. Yet, even the critics hated this film. With 28 reviews submitted, the film has a pathetic 18% score on Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb is even worse. Of the 41 fan reviews, only 9 reviews are of a 6-star review or higher. It'll end up being one of the most disappointing films in Star Trek's entire canon. I'm unsure why IMDb doesn't have its usual star system for Section 31. I thought it would take a few days for it to go live, but had it gone live, the average grade of the reviewer is a 3.9 out of 10. Pretty telling score. One IMDb writer called it the Acolyte meets Rebel Moon meets Spock's brain. damning description for the film, and he gave it a 5 out of 10, one of the higher reviews for the film. They're not the only outfit who hated this film, as IGN gave it a 2 out of 10, saying the film will infuriate Star Trek fans and bore everyone else. There will likely be some fans who like the film, and maybe even a few critics. I myself adore Star Trek Into Darkness, so it's very possible it's a film you'll enjoy, yet you should watch it and find yourself hating every minute of it. Just remember you were warned. Should you watch it? Yeah. So yeah, anything else here? Okay, that's it for that one. And nothing new on the email list. So clear that out and get out of that. And just watch thing from Tachyon Pulse. It's part of Sidetrack thing. Section 31 was probably Kurtzman's last chance to prove to his new bosses, the Skydance ones coming in, that they can deliver. That he should be given an extension because, hey, look how it's not working too well. This thing is going down like the Hindenburg. Okay. Dave's like, just gonna throw the sunglasses on, just do a raise. I think I will. That's looking bad. Besides, it's like when this, because now I can go back here and think, can I? No, really haven't got enough room to do the swivel chair, but the fuck you, we were right. Fuck you, we were right. Yeah. But yeah, it's like the buzz has been bad on this thing from the get-go. The trailer was horrible, but it was honest. The show did not hit on any level. It was just as bad as the trailer indicated, maybe a little worse in some cases. And it's like, this could very well be the final nail in Kurtzman's Star Trek coffin. No, you're not getting your extension. Thinking about, we finished, but no, crowds, they haven't even started filming season 1 yet. They're reckoning all these high cast member, but it's all pre-production. They haven't started filming yet. I mean, if somebody hears different, let me know. But I indicate that they haven't started filming yet. And again, the bean counters with the Skydance did an audit of all the various properties they've got. I mean, most stuff is licensed, but the Star Trek is the one they actually own. And that Mission Impossible, maybe a few others. But their advice for Star Trek was cancel everything, let it sit for a few years. Kind of let the bad taste of Discovery and everything die off. And also figured that, Strange New Worlds is popular enough, but only because it's kind of a return to form, but otherwise it's still got the stink of Discovery about it. The only one that really had any kind of momentum going was Lower Decks. And of course the big reaction to Legacy, which Kurtzman is standing in the way of because he's a whiny little bitch. He can't handle somebody else's version coming in and being more popular than his. He's just being a little brat. So yeah, with Section 31 going down in flames, it's like, no, we're not even extending it. We're pulling the plug at the first opportunity we got. Like, I think the contract allows for that, whatever is currently in production, they can finish out. But that's probably just going to be whatever the current season is when the contract expires. They're not going to get 5 seasons for Strange New Worlds, I don't think. I don't know how much they got for next season of Strange New Worlds. Like, no, that's it. You're done. You're not getting any more for that, and you're definitely not getting another movie. And Academy, it's like, We'll see about that, Sparky. So yeah, it's gonna get ugly before this thing finally works itself out. But that's because of that stupid contract that Les Moonves saddled the studio with, kind of a poison pill on the way out the door. I think part of why he hated Star Trek is he didn't understand it. Not just that, but not just on the as a science fiction, but just as a prediction, he didn't quite understand because it was when they're building up for it. Hey, it's supposed to be cheap because it her other thing how Star Trek was a low budget show that didn't it's like no, it wasn't low budgeted, less. It wasn't adequately budgeted. But it was a very expensive show, and a new one, especially the level you're demanding, is going to be even more expensive. Dipshit. I mean, frankly, they're doing, they came to me and said, "How would you do we want to do a prequel Star Trek show, early days of the Enterprise, under April or whatever." I wouldn't be building sets on Paramount. Again, at least not at first. You want this thing on TV sets by the end of the year? I'm going to Sandusky, Ohio, using the Star Trek Continue sets. We're going to shoot on those for a while until everything back in Hollywood is ready to go. Oh, God. I don't know what I did to my arm. It doesn't seem like it's really broken, but something feels a little weird. But I think I might get a little wrist brace. Yeah, but it's like with Dallas, they shot a lot of it in location at the real South Fork for a while until the sets back in Hollywood are done. Or same with Dukes of Hazzard. Coming in Georgia was Hazard County for a while until they're everything built up back in Burbank. So you want to do a Star Trek prequel series? Like I said, Sandusky, Ohio. Those are working sets. And I've been out, and you light them right, they'll look. I don't know how many times I've seen people watching Star Trek Continues and having to remind, "Oh, this isn't the original series." No, because they match the original series perfectly. In the lighting and everything else, it's like it took a while to remind them. Okay, yeah, this isn't the real show. It's a family, but they nailed it and nailed the look of it. And they've gotten most of there's only maybe a couple of bit like the emergency manual monitor they didn't build because that had to be built up on sets. So I'm still looking over the over engineering and the finishing engineering. They didn't have the big superchargers on there, but that wouldn't have been a big deal. But yeah, we'll do like early days of the Enterprise. So like, don't do this whole redirect. We modernize this. Modernize it. Your quest for a new audience. No, you're gonna be dragging in old fans. That is who you drag in for thing. You got to satisfy the old fans. They'll bring in the new fans. But you can't build a new audience when you're telling your existing audience to go screw itself. So that's something that, again, that's what built Star Wars was the pre-existing science fiction fan base was there. They didn't create Star Wars fans at a whole class. A lot of Star Trek fans like me coming in to see that movie first time and raving about it and bringing other people. And again, it was also had mass appeal. It was a very simple story to go. Good guys, bad guys, things going blown up. So where this thing came from, well, we need new fans. Then you better satisfy the old ones because they're the ones going to bring in the new fans. You're not going to get anywhere telling your old fans to go screw themselves. And that's where we're at right now. It's where Star Wars is at. Star Wars is virtually a dead brand now. Even the good stuff's not getting attention. And there's not much good stuff to get attention with. Because all it Skeleton Crew is not that bad, but the ratings are plumbing because people are giving up on it. They're not even bothering to show up. Andor really didn't set the world on fire, and it's supposedly one of the best things out there in Star Wars. Because the thing is, they come out and trot out something like the Acolyte. Oh, full of is good. This thing stinks on ice, you people. And again, with Star Trek, it's like merchandise sales are down like 93% overall. You don't just kill. It's not just because the licensees aren't touching Discovery. I think they tried like Amigo. I think did a Michael Burnham and a Saru figure. They're warming on pegs, probably at Ollie's. Nobody's buying them. I don't think the ships are doing like great. The Disco Prize is the only one really that sold enough that they reissued 2 versions of it. I don't see any big versions of the Shenzhou. The only models of Discovery out there are the same tooling they've already got. There's only one version of it, because also if they try to big version of that, the thing would be about that long. No, it's ridiculous. But the only one they got really is the Enterprise. The itty bitty one, and then the big gigantic one. Well, this one over here is like. But that's more about personal affection with the Enterprise. Well, this is a pretty good looking ship. I'm not buying it as the Enterprise though. Or when I decided, no, it's going to be something else. I'm calling it the Yorktown class, and it's going to be the middle one between the NX and what came afterwards. But that's where we're at. And I've been rattling for about an hour, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. So things are going along nicely. The channel's back up in the 1370s as far as subscribers go. More, please. Bring your friends. Have them sign up. I'd like to get this channel actually paying for itself. Eventually. But with that, I think we'll go and talk.